Hi all, I'm Cullen Haynes and welcome to Live with Cullen Haynes, Dad Live, episode number 2, following on from the legendary Michael Seaton's episode a couple of weeks ago. I'm here with an absolute legend of the space, been following his work for many, many years on LinkedIn. Is a legendary father, very present marketer, author of The Attention Gap, and is broadcasting all the way from the other side of the world in America, in Atlanta. It's 7 p.m. over there. It's 9:15 over here. So can you please make very welcome the one, the only, Mr. Chris Rapozo. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Great to be here, Colin. I've been following you for a long time. I know you are a legend of LinkedIn. You have a wonderful book I've read. I always studied you. I used your material to present at conferences. So I really admire you, admire your work, and I'm so honored to be on this show. Number 2, baby, episode number 2.
No, no. Number 2, mate. Number 2. But thank you so much for being part of it. And I've been obviously endeared by your content because you are someone that wears your heart on your sleeve. You present exactly how you live your life. But most of all, you've had to balance your professional life with being a father. And I want to get into that because that was a bold move. You did some things that no one else would dream about when they became a father. So I would like to ask you, what was it like, that transition from, going all in on your career and then, poof, you're suddenly the father to, this being that you're responsible to. I'd love to get into that.
I mean, it's amazing to have kids. You don't realize how much time you actually have when you don't have kids. And then you have the kids. I have a 7-year-old who's going to turn 8 in the fall and a 4-year-old who will be 5 in July. So hands are full, schedules are packed. But we're living the dream here in America and just taking it one day at a time, especially during summertime. We're currently at summer break, trying to balance work life with the kids being in camp, but only half day, and the rest of the day, just trying to make sure that they don't beat each other up too much.
I love that. And obviously, just for those tuning in, Dad Live's all about, working dads trying to be present, build their career, but also be there for their children and form those great memories. I'd love to ask the start of your day. You're obviously very fit. You've got a bit of a schedule, no doubt, that you need to live by. To kick things off, what does a normal morning look like as a dad right now in your household?
Right now, cup of coffee, Bible in hand. Making sure I start off on a firm foundation. I got to make sure we start off on a firm foundation because you never know what the day throws at you. But if you're even keel and you walk with the Lord, you're going to be just okay. So I know you didn't think I'm going to start preaching on this show, but yeah, this is how I start.
That's all right.
And then I'm trying to get a run in if I can, just to stay fit. Like you said, happy, healthy body, healthy mind. And when my kids were smaller, I used to have the double stroller, so I would put them into the stroller.
Love the double stroller.
For years. I love it. It's amazing. It keeps them occupied, gets them out of the house, and gives moms some time to rest as well.
I'm glad you said that because you basically, there's a lot of parallels between yourself and myself. And that is one thing I still do to this day because my kids are, 3 and 2 years old. So I take them for a run in the morning in the cemetery. A lot of people give me flack for that, but I run, we have some cathartic time. And you're right. It gives your partner, it gives madam a bit of time by themselves because that's probably the best thing that they can get because it's just so chaotic when you go to work.
It's so chaotic and they need that. Everybody needs a little bit of time for themselves. And, some people, they have stay-at-home wives, but that doesn't mean that they don't work. They work more than we do. They're always on. I mean, having 2 kids is of 7 o'clock till whenever they go to bed at 8 o'clock at night or something like that. They got to be on. They want mom all the time. Dad is there too to help and support. But when somebody gets hurt,
of course,
mom. So.
Absolutely. And you're obviously going to instill a quite worldly life in your kids. You're obviously well traveled. You're originally from Germany. You lived there until the age of 22. So I'd love to ask just quickly, how did it come to the pass that you're now living in the States? How did that get to that journey there?
Yeah, I have dual citizenship. My father was American. He was stationed in Germany in the U.S. Army. Met my mother, had me and my mom had me and my brother. My dad left. We stuck around in Germany with my mom. But I always enjoyed the American movies and playing American sports. And I always had a draw to come to America. And at age 22, after I finished my apprenticeship as a concrete finisher and a bricklayer in Germany, I thought to myself,
Yes.
okay, I did my education and now I'm going to try my own luck and see if I can make it happen in America. I had an opportunity to go to Tampa, Florida. And the idea was go there for 6 months or maybe a year and see how it goes. And 17 years later, I was still there. And 4 years ago, I moved to Atlanta. So I've been in the United States almost 21 years now.
Wow. Incredible. So you literally, as the saying goes, living the dream, as it were.
I am living the dream. I have a family, 2 kids, a house, a nice front yard, and working a career that I really enjoy, which is a luxury really for some people. Some people go to work and they don't like it and they live it for the weekend, but I'm actually living for every day, and I like what I do, and I'm blessed to have that.
I love that. And that gratitude comes about in everything you do. As I said, I'll be following your content and your journey, and it is guiding your path, which I think is amazing. And I'd love to ask you, we all can't predict what it's like to become a parent. So what surprised you most about becoming a dad that no one warned you about? Even if you have the great mindset that you do, what was one thing that surprised you that you wish someone said, hey, what's going on?
How truly selfish we are. I did not, you walk through life, you try to be good, but then when you have a little human moving into your house, everything that rolls around their schedule doesn't matter what you want anymore. You're at their beck and call, regardless of how tired you are. And if it's 2-3 o'clock in the morning and they want something, you're dead tired and you don't want to go up, you get up, you have to get up. And sometimes you wrestle with yourself while you're holding that bottle, rocking that baby at night. And you're like, did I make a mistake having a child? And then you just have to talk yourself through it. I think everybody's been at that point where they were so exhausted that they thought, man,
yes,
this is very difficult. Fatigue makes cowards out of all of us at some point.
It doesn't it? And one thing that Michael in episode 1 said is he doesn't know where the time from 4 to 8 p.m. what he used to do, because that's the magic time now, but you are in the thick of it. And he made the famous comment that people that don't have kids should be billionaires with the time that they have on their hands, because if you don't think you had time, you have no time with 1 kid, but you really don't have time with 2 kids, right?
Yeah, absolutely, no time at all. But it's a legacy we built through them, so you have to keep that in mind as well. It's just
Absolutely.
Something different. It's just a different life season in your life at this time.
It's a different season. And what's been a recent moment of chaos that made you stop and laugh, or something in the morning that goes awry that you just find really humorous?
So my son, 7-year-old, he loves to cook and watch cooking shows. And there's this Mr. Beast show where they have this chef there.
Yes.
They do all cool creations. And they did chocolate balloon bowls. So he wanted to do that reenacted with me. So Sunday morning, my wife and daughter were still asleep. We were making the chocolate, put it in a bowl, melted it, and had the balloons next to us. And the chocolate was hot, was melted. And I kept putting the chocolate in a spatula, and I kept putting it on the balloon. And he said, Dad, you have to let the chocolate cool. You have to let the chocolate cool. He didn't tell me why. But I said, no, I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I'll keep putting the hot chocolate in a balloon. And he said, no, Dad, you have to let the chocolate cool. That's what they did on TV. I said, if I let the chocolate cool, the chocolate hardens and you can't spread it anyway. I keep putting the hot chocolate in the balloon, and we're both really close to the balloon. All of a sudden, the balloon explodes with the chocolate on it in our white kitchen. We had the chocolate on our face, on our clothes, all over the walls, all over the ceiling, all over the floor. And he walks to my wife and said, I told him it's going to pop. But he didn't believe me. So that made me laugh. At first, I was upset about it, but then I started laughing, and after the fact, because the 7-year-old told me not to do it, but I didn't listen.
I love that. I think that's amazing. And yeah, Mr. Beast is he's doing some interesting things. He's a good role model. So, but to that point, I want to unpack what you said a little bit. It's so easy to fixate on when things go wrong, and you can kind of lose your mind in the moment. What's something new dads and parents waste too much time worrying on, would you say, early on?
Early on, germs. Everybody's telling you, don't take your kid outside. Don't take your kid in front of people. Don't take your kid to the supermarket or in front of to animals. They'll be okay. We were all fine over the last some thousands of years. when the kids came out, they were born in less clean conditions, and we all survived. So it's the germ talk that we hear these days. So of course, we don't be clean and all that, but just don't go too overboard.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I think I read it in Michael J. Fox's biography. The first child, when they drop their dummy, you go and sterilize it, you put it in
That's
hot
right.
water, then you put it back, and then when you have the second one, they drop it, you might run it under some cold water. And then, after a while, they could drop it in mud. You just put it on your shirt, do that, and then you just put it straight back in. It's
That's right.
so true.
With,
But I'd love
with
to
the
ask
first
you,
one,
what helped? Yeah, go ahead.
with the first one, when they stumble outside or something, everybody kept running to the little one, picking them up, making sure they're okay. And then by the second or third, you're okay, let's get up, you're fine. Just move on.
Absolutely. Like if you hear someone fall down the stairs and they get back up, it's all good. But if you hear them down the stairs and they're not moving, then you should probably rush over.
Right.
In terms of resetting and giving your partner space, is there a way that you reset as a father and how you help your partner reset as well?
Yeah, for me, it's like I said earlier, going outside, exercising, running, keeping my mind clear,
Yeah.
and reset, especially when you have a newborn in the house and they keep screaming all day long. That can drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Like really,
Yes.
you have to remove
Yes.
yourself from the situation, even if it's just for a walk around the house for 2 to 3 minutes, and get your mind back into the right space. And the same for the partner at night, especially because at the beginning, feeding time every 2 hours at night. They're asking for mom. Obviously, they need mom to get fed, but there's also, you can have it in a bottle. So dad should be up there at least maybe at 2 o'clock or at 4 o'clock in the morning to give your partner at least 3 to 4 hours of uninterrupted sleep. It's very important as well, especially in the first 3 months, because you think that they're on maternity leave and they have all the time in the world. They have no time. The kid is constantly on. So you have to realize that because you're stepping outside, going to work, you have 8 to 10 hours of work, but not the stress with the kid. And when you come home, better be there and make sure that you are present with the child and don't expect any dinners as well, fully cooked for yourself.
No, definitely. This is not the 1950s, and make sure that when you get home, you don't make any comments on the house, because it could be that the kids are running wild. It's a bomb site. And, make sure the first thing you can say is these 4 words. And I think I said it in episode 1, how can I help? That's all you need to do. Drop your bag. Don't get your laptop out. Just say, how can I help? And put me to work. And just be present, because the biggest thing is time.
That is it. That is it.
Now, I want to unpack a little bit, because you went back to university as an adult while raising 2 kids. What was it like studying with a toddler in the house? How did you balance that? And would you, because a lot of people say, look, I'm too, like that ship has sailed. I can't do that. What would you say to people that are looking to make a shift like that and do it while they're in the thick of it with kids?
We all have 24 hours in a day, and sometimes it takes sacrifice to get to the goals that you want. I wanted to make a career change, and I want to become a better provider and provide a better life for my family. So I knew that as I entered into the season of going back to university as an adult, while having a child and then in the process having a second one, that things would become tough, and you just have to realign your schedule. So what I did is, like I told you earlier, I helped with the night feeding. So if my baby woke up at 4:30 in the morning, I would feed it a bottle, but instead of me going back to sleep, I would put it in a rocker with a bottle, so it would fall back asleep, and I would start doing my schoolwork before work. So I did schoolwork before work. Then I went to work. After I came back, I spent time with my wife and kid. After the kid went to bed, I did schoolwork again for an hour or 2 instead of watching Netflix or watching TV, right? So you don't watch TV. You don't waste time. You just focus on the end goal.
True.
Yeah, so you just have to have a little bit of a sacrifice, right? But the cool thing is that even after you finish school, that work ethic transfers into your work life. So now instead of me just working my 9 to 5, now I have time to run my podcast like you do, or to have a book club, or go out there and run, right? Instead of wasting time on shows. Of course, it's every once in a while you can watch a show or a movie, but I'm not sitting there every night for 3 to 4 hours consuming content on the TV.
No, I'm very endeared and amazed that you're able to do that. And I look up to people like your good self who are able to balance it. And I think you're right. I think there's time in the day that people realize it's just a habit, and
Mhm.
definitely TV is one thing. It only costs what, $1,000 or $2,000 for a TV, right? But it probably
Right.
costs you more in terms of
Yes.
the music you're not going to practice, the books you're not going to write, the podcasts or things or other artistic endeavors that you're not
Mhm.
giving your time in. So just to,
Mhm.
even just maybe just having a cup of tea with your partner and talking in the evening rather than putting it on. I think you're making some good points. Absolutely. Um, what did that moment or what did that period teach you about fatherhood that a smoother path wouldn't have? So looking back on your couple of years of study while you were in that thick of it, like, was there any
Mhm.
lessons to glean?
Yeah, I like this quote. I don't know who has said it, but nothing worthwhile is going to be given in. Nothing worthwhile is going to be given to you, and an achievement feels more rewarding when you break a sweat for it. So I think that I pushed through that period, and was one of the hardest periods of my life. But now, after the fact, I can tackle anything else afterwards. Nothing feels as difficult as that time did. So when I feel like I have a project at work that stretches me a little bit, I know I've been there and I can persevere. It's like when we go running a marathon, right, or a half marathon, and we go through the training cycle, we stretch ourselves and we get a little bit better. It's grueling and it's hard, but we've been there before. So we want to suffer in training and then we enjoy ourselves in the race. And it's the same with my time being an adult learner. Now that I'm in the workforce at my career, trying to build my career when it gets hard, I said, hey, I've done harder things than this. Is this going to be okay?
No. Oh, well, I love that. And I'd love to maybe switch gears a little bit and talk about how has becoming a dad, talking about work and identity shift, how has that becoming a dad changed the way you define work and success now? Because,
Mm,
in the early days, I look at it in Carl Jung terms, in the morning of your life, it's all about, making money, going out, success and everything like that. But then when you move into the afternoon and you become a father,
mm,
your priorities, and definitely for me, my identity and priorities shifted. So I'd love to know how that
mhm.
shifted for you.
Same. I love that Carl Jung quote, by the way, the morning of life, and then the evening of life. Everything what's right in the morning is a lie in the evening. And I just, yeah, it's
Correct.
so, I love this quote so much. Yeah, achievement was everything. I grew up playing sports, wanted to be really good at sports. I felt like because I think it's because my father left at an early age that I needed to feel like I needed to prove myself to other people like my mom or other coaches, male figures, to making sure, hey, I was good enough for somebody to stick around. So I've really tried to achieve a lot while I was doing sports. And I thought, hey, I want my son. I know I was good at sports, but oh my gosh, my son, if he gets the genes and he applies himself, he's going to be even better. And I'm going to be around to teach him, right? And I thought, like, oh my gosh, he's
Yes.
going to be a professional athlete or something like that. So at the beginning, I was like, okay, he's going to be a professional football player, a professional soccer player, or maybe a professional runner. And then as I got older, and I noticed that he does not like these sports that I liked. He likes to dance. He likes to do artistic things. And I was like, none of this matters to me. The only thing that
Yes.
matters is that he's a good person and a good friend to other people. That's what matters to me now. And, it's kind of changed for me as well. Like, I'm no longer trying to, I still try to be competitive, but not at all
Of
cost.
course.
So, you want to play nice in the sandbox, also at work.
Well, and it shows in everything you do, even like the way you come across. You're always got the jacket on. You're always showing up. Is that something that you learnt early on, or anything like that, to always show up? Because you always seem on whenever I see you. You never
Yeah.
like. There's never a moment where I like, oh, he's on his B game today. He's always on his A game.
Yeah, that's a funny story. I was in Orlando, Florida last week at Epcot during a conference, and we had this networking outing at Epcot, and it was hot. It was humid, but I was there with a polo shirt and shorts, pants. And one of the
Yeah.
attendees was like, why don't you wear shorts?" And I was like, because I'm at work. Is this still work for me? And from the moment I step off the airplane in Orlando to the moment I get back into my car in Atlanta, I'm going to be on, because you never know who's watching. Somebody's always watching you and how you conduct yourself, right? So I always think to myself, yeah, it's great to look the part when you're in a room full of people and they're looking at you, but who are you when nobody's looking? So I want to make sure that I'm always, not just on LinkedIn or during a conference or during a work event that I look like this. I want to be like that when nobody's around as well. So that's how I conduct my life like that. And that's why I look the way I look, or that's why I'm always, like you said, on, but it's just my lifestyle and the way I operate all the time.
Well, I think it comes across in space, but I'd love to ask you, what's the hardest for you to switch off from work to be fully present at home? As in, like, you go from marketer to storyteller to dad mode. How does that work for you? What is there something you do to get into that mode, or steps? Because you could be working from home, right? And there's that instant shift.
I am working from home, and it's very difficult to switch off, especially when you have a presentation coming up, or if you're traveling to out of the city, out of the state, or you're just coming back. Like, let's say I arrive at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, but I was gone for 3 days and I'm still coming back into home mode, and my kids all around me, but I'm still charged. Like, hey, I need a second. I need some space. I need to separate myself. And those are the times, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. So you still have to yourself as well. So then you have to talk to your partner. It's like, I'm still kind of on. I'm still kind of distracted. Can I get this 1 hour? Let me go to the store, get some groceries, and then I come back. Then I'm going to be okay. Now I'm back in the environment that I need to be, and I can change my mindset as well. So I'm not perfect there at all. So I'm a work in progress for sure. And I could take some advice from other people. So I'll keep listening to your show to learn from those other folks as well.
I appreciate that, Chris. But and I will encourage people. We're getting towards the second to third, 2/3 of the show. If you've got any questions, queries, comments for Chris, please put them in the show notes, and I'll do my best to shout them out. Now, look, you describe yourself, just a nice segue, as a husband, father, runner, storyteller, in that order. How does running fit into that mold to keep you grounded as a dad? I know you talked about it before, but do you listen to music on a run? Do you not? Do you just have silence? Like, what's your process when you go out running for that, Mozart time, that quiet time?
When I go out running, I prefer to run without music, just to hear nature and hear cars, oncoming cars. Very important. If I run in the streets, I got to make sure that nobody hits me. So I want to make sure I'm around for my kids, but. When I'm outside, I like to run without anything. I have my phone with me just in case if I need to call my wife, and I have my Strava. I have my Strava on the phone. I mean, I got to make sure I record everything.
I love your Strava.
Yeah, Strava is good. But if I go on a treadmill, then I listen to motivational running movies, clips on YouTube, just to get me going, because it's so boring. Or watch a soccer game on TV. It was really good when the World Cup was on, so I could watch the games, and I ran along with the guys on the field. That's what I like to do. And I also like to run at conferences. So when I go to a conference for work, I usually organize a run group in the morning to do networking before the sessions. So get people together. It's a really good time and network with other people just outside of the conference environment.
No, I think so. And I have to ask, has running with your kids or for your kids when they were that little, or do you run now to be healthy for you so you can be a better dad? Like, what's the reason you run?
I run because I love to eat. Honestly, I love to eat. I don't like to worry about what I eat. So, obviously, you want to be fit for your kids, because they say, "Catch me, daddy, catch me." So I want to be able to run with them. I do weightlifting. I weightlift a lot, so I can lift them up in the pool and throw them into the pool. There was a time where I wasn't fit, and I was 250 pounds at one point when I first moved to the United States.
I'd never believe it. That's what 120, 130 kilos, if I'm not mistaken. Or
it was very, very heavy, and I was just sluggish and just didn't feel good about myself. That was before I had kids, and I got into running, got into weightlifting, and into healthy eating as well. It's another thing. You can't outrun a bad diet, so you have to make sure that you keep the drinking to a minimum, the alcohol. I mean, I'm from Germany, so I like a good pint of beer, but I keep it to a minimum. And then the same with the food. German food is really fatty and heavy, so I try to keep it limited. Just eat healthy, exercise, and it just keeps my mind clear. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you do good.
Well, you're doing all of the above there, Chris, and it's showing what I mean. It's showing. Switching to how your kids view you, if your kids had to explain what you do for work, what would they say?
They say I work on the computer because I'm always on my laptop. But
That's
I mean,
true, true.
they see me on the laptop all the time, but they also see me on YouTube because they like YouTube. And then when they see my podcast on YouTube, they're like, "Oh my gosh, that is on YouTube," And I just let them think that I'm as big as Mr. Beast. I don't tell them yet, but no,
Go, Mr. Beast.
no,
Mr.
exactly.
Dad.
They don't. But no, I mean, they understand, I guess. But every once in a while, work takes over, as well as the side gigs like the podcast. You just have your head around it, and you just have to tell yourself, put the electronics away, be present with the kids, and play some board games, and things turn out well.
I love that. I love that. And it's probably Mr. Beast comes on, and the next video that comes on is you. You have to look as famous as Mr. Beast. Go, Mr. Chris. I love it. I love it. And if you had a dad superhero name or identity, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I didn't get to that question.
Boy.
Oh my gosh. What would it be? I don't want to be cliche and say Superman. I guess Captain America. I love Captain America. I'm very patriotic. I got to tell you, man, I moved here from another country and I have the flag flying outside. I wear the American flag proudly. So, but I also like the character of Steve Rogers. If you've ever watched it, have you seen it, Captain America?
I have.
Yeah,
Yes.
so yeah, it's not just the strength and all that and the patriotism, it's also the character of him, and I just like that. So, but I don't know, I just made this up out of thin air, so don't quote me on that. Them, they're probably not going to tell you this. It's probably somebody else, maybe Groot or something from Indians.
I love that. I love that. I think that's amazing. If you're just tuning in, Chris Rapozo, his dad identity is Captain America. And with your European accent, it's kind of formed into this New York style accent. I don't know if you've been told that before.
Not yet. They tell me everything, man. Some people say, "Are you from Ireland? Are you from here, there?" It depends on the region or who listens to it. But everybody says you don't sound like the typical German. So I hide it well.
When you go to Germany and you come back, do you come back with a thicker German accent?
No, actually, when I go to Germany, they say I have an American accent for some reason. When I talk German, because I talk so much English now, and hardly German, they say, "Hey, you sound like you're somebody from the United States who learned German in America." I'm like, oh my gosh, I have arrived. But that's what 21 years does to you, 21 years in the United States, in another country. I almost lived here as long as I did in Germany. So.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what a German American accent sounds. Is it like Willkommen, dude?
Like Jürgen Klinsmann. You know Jürgen Klinsmann, the legend of soccer?
Oh, wie geht's Ihnen heute? Oh, I love that, my friend. But what does something you're still figuring out as a father?
Work-life balance. I still figure that out, and I think I'll always will figure that out. And just making sure, because you have these two competing priorities. One is like you want to do the best work you can, so you can give the kids the best life that they can have. But then you hear the horror stories of people, like adults, they're saying, "Hey, my dad was never around for me and he was a slave to his job." So that's not what I want to be. But sometimes I feel like, there's no such thing as work-life balance, really. There's seasons of you got to go all in on this project, and then you got some more time, and then you give it to your kids, right? So it's a work-life integration, as my wife likes to call it.
I love that. I think your wife is a very smart person, and it's very similar to the way I view it. I don't believe in work-life balance, but I do believe in work-life quality. And sometimes, yes, you do have to get up early and do some work, and then you're with the kids, and then you go to work, and then when you get home, you have to be present. But then you might have to log on later and get some things out before the next day. You just got to integrate it, and I think your wife has said some very sage things there. Absolutely. What do you hope your kids remember most about you one day?
That I love them, that they say, hey, did my dad love me? Like, regardless of, some of the shortcomings or whatever, he loved me, he was there for me, and he was always put me first. So I hope that they will remember that, because that is the intention of many of us. It doesn't always show, but I hope that when they read my obituary, that they say that guy was the real deal and he put us first.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. And, final question, if there's one thing that you could tell a new father that you wish someone told you at the start, just like one little gem to help them on the journey, what would it be?
I would tell them that they matter, even though if society puts mothers on a pedestal and puts fathers to the side. You see these little clips, right, where they say, hey, if mom or dad could be run over by a car, which one would you want to be run over? And I saw these clips on YouTube or social media that said, dad, I want dad to be run over and stuff. And dad's always like, oh my gosh. But at the end of the day, this is a dramatic, super crazy example, but dads matter more than society wants us to believe. So stick around, be there. If they cry for mom, it's okay. Let them go to mom.
Yes.
But just know that when you're not around, they're crying for you when you're on a work trip and they want you around. So don't forget that.
It's well said. Well said. And don't be surprised if your child does say, I want mama. It happens all the time.
All the time.
You just got, yeah, absolutely. But it's a balance. And I think what you said, there's some pearls of wisdom there and nuggets there, Chris. And thank you so much for being on the show. Where can people find you? Where are you hanging out the most? Obviously, YouTube is where your kids see you, but where can people get in touch with you? Is it LinkedIn? Is it your site?
Yeah. Just find me on LinkedIn, Chris Rapozo, Rapozo. You'll find me there, and I'll be there almost every day. So if you send me a connection request, tell me Cullen send you, and I'll accept it.
Mention my name. He'll definitely accept you in a heartbeat. Thank you so much, Chris. This has been an amazing episode 2. And keep doing what you're doing and keep shining for your kids. And thank you so much for being part of DadLIVE, my friend.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Dankeschön. And if you are a legend as a father and you want to talk about things that make your journey different, we come out every Friday. We're doing our best to come out on the DadLIVE show and talk about ways you can be present and be there for your partner, hacks to be a great dad, and, just talk about the funny moments that it is being a father. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Obviously, it's supported by Legal Home Loans and Accounting Home Loans, and our charity partner, Relove. I really want to give a shout out to them. We are doing our best to support Relove because they furnish homes for victims of domestic violence, and they do great work because usually when people leave a home, they're leaving with the clothes on their bank, and they're usually females with their children. So Relove is doing a great thing. $500 furnishes a whole home. So have a look on our website and support that. And, real dads say no to domestic violence as well. So be the example. So thanks again for tuning in to DadLIVE, everyone. All the best, make it count, and take care. Hey there, Cullen Haynes here, Australia's leading broker for lawyers on LinkedIn, and here's why I want to talk to you today about my new book, The Laws of LinkedIn, 23 ways to find your tribe, build your following, and make 7 figures on LinkedIn. When I started this journey 7 years ago, when we built, myself and Andrew, my business partner, we built Legal Home Loans from the ground up, the pain point for us was we were at a standing start. No one knew who we were. We had no money, we had no contacts, and basically we had to find a way to make our voice heard, talk to our tribe, the legal community, and build trust. And the only thing we had at our disposal was LinkedIn, which was and still is free. There's over 1 billion people on LinkedIn, and I wish when I started I had this book with me to guide me, because I basically distilled my 23 top leading hacks that we use to build our business to a 7+ figure, and I really want to get it out there and share it with you. So if you're